Well, you probably saw Carson Wentz is now a member of the Indianapolis Colts. I think it's interesting. I think from my perspective, Carson Wentz can definitely revitalize his career because Frank Wright had great success with him in Philadelphia. Um, and obviously the media all thinks he's trash, and that's true based on last year. I'm wondering your initial thoughts on that and kind of where you see his success going in Indianapolis.
Yeah, I mean, I was a big fan of Carson Wentz. I think the year was on that MVP kind of run, and with this trade now in the Colts, it's a great situation for him. I mean, they have like one of the best offensive lines. I think they had the number one defense last year. So he's got the keys or for success. It's up to him whether he lives up to that. The Eagles were a great team. I mean, last few years they had a lot of injuries last year, so it's tough to gauge where he's at. But personally, if I had to give my opinion, I don't think he's going to do that well. I mean, I think that they still had a pretty good team last year, and they weren't able to do that well. I don't think he hasn't been really able to stay on the field, and with the injuries and stuff, I just don't see it happening. But it's possible for sure with the situation.
Yeah, for sure. So one thing I was thinking about. So I've given my top 10 list of the best teams in the NBA, but I'll just give you my top five, and we can just kind of go based on that what you kind of think of it. So I got Utah at one, Brooklyn two, the Lakers at three, Clippers at four, and the 76ers at five. Then I got Phoenix, Portland, Denver, Golden State, Milwaukee kind of mixing that top 10. Reason I have Golden State in the top 10 is just because I think that even though the Spurs are sixth in the West, I don't think the Spurs are that legit. I think the Spurs are just having a nice little run right now. I think Steph Curry is obviously an MVP candidate, so that's kind of how I feel there. But I think Utah is the best team in the NBA. Great defense, and right now they're playing the most unselfish. I think Brooklyn has the chance definitely to be that team, but Brooklyn's got to show more consistency on the defensive end. Your thoughts and kind of who you think the best team in the NBA is at this moment?
So I think it's the Nets. I support both the New York teams, so like I said before, a little bit biased, but I think the that big three is just so good with Harden, Durant, and Kyrie, and I think they will figure it out on the defensive end. That's the only doubt that people are really talking about. But like we saw, I think with the Phoenix game last week when they were down by 24, they didn't have Kyrie or Durant, and then Harden was able to bring them back. So when they get their whole big three fully healthy, I think the sky is a limit for them. But I love to hear from you why you think Utah's the best team. I know they're the best record right now, but I'd love to hear more about that.
I think it's just because I trust them more on defense and they have more depth. With Brooklyn, they have three of the best scorers in the NBA, right? You could put LeBron obviously in that list as well, because LeBron, in my opinion, is still the best player in the NBA. But the thing with Utah is Utah has the ability to rebound, which Brooklyn struggles with a lot because they have Bogdanovich, who's big. They have Rudy Gobert, who's a monster down low and can block any shot. And also, you have guys like Joe Ingles who averaged 12 points a game, good shooter. You got a bunch. Jordan Clarkson's having a career year. Donovan Mitchell's playing at a all time great level. And the thing with Brooklyn personally is like even against the Clippers, I know that they got away with that flopping call. I'm not really too angry about it, but it just like again like that wasn't great defense. I know everyone's crediting Harden. It wasn't great defense. I think Brooklyn. The thing is, from a talent perspective, I think they're the most talented team in the NBA, hands down. But I like Utah because Utah right now there hasn't been any glitches, and right now their offense and defense are both top five in the NBA. And I just think that they're a sleeper. I really don't think people appreciate how good they are, and I think that they're going to actually be a Western Conference Final contender. And I think they could definitely get out of the West if they continue this up. But that's where I feel right now. Do I think Brooklyn will end up probably being the best team with the Lakers at the end? Yes, but I think that I think right now Utah's playing the best in the NBA. That's just my personal feeling.
Yeah, I think I totally agree with you about the depth piece. I think in the playoffs, if they can sneak into that Western Conference final spot, they have Jordan Clarkson is, I think, the front runner for sixth man of the year right now. So the depth will be a big question mark for Brooklyn. I think the power will supersede that. I think in the NBA especially, it's just when you have those guys, it's a different thing. And I think the Nets depth is a little bit underestimated. With they got some good players like Landry Shamet, and I think Brown is a pretty good player. They picked up Iman Shumpert and Andre Roberson, so they added a little bit more to defense. Those are more experienced guys, but we'll see how the rebounding and kind of those like intangible pieces play in for Brooklyn.
If you like that clip from the Shred Takes podcast show, I encourage you to like and subscribe to the YouTube channel. And also, if you want to check out the full episode in its entirety, go to Apple Podcasts and Spotify to view the full episodes.